Hey all, here are OS Reviews. Today we're taking a closer look at the SoundPeats Sonic. These are TWS wireless buds that sell for around $50 and also comes with a Qualcomm 3040 chipset, which supports Qualcomm's adaptive aptX, which can optimize when you're playing back music to give you as much detail and resolution as possible, but there's also a dedicated low latency gaming mode with the aim of minimizing lag between the audio and the video, but at the expense of slightly lowering the audio quality. And also has pretty long battery life. Actually, the buds, when removed from the case, can last upwards of 15 hours, and then with the battery case combined, you get 35 hours when on the road. Great if you're wearing it for longer listening sessions. Has an LED light for telling you how much battery percentage is remaining, and in terms of the navigation, it is using touch controls, which allow you to do things like play pause the music, as well as control the volume. Really, the only missing feature I'm seeing would be ANC or active noise cancellation, but it still seems competitive for what it is. Now, otherwise, here's the packaging, very clean. It just says sound for urban sports. Other packaging contents include just a Type-C charging cable. The battery case doesn't support Qi wireless charging, so it relies on Type-C to quickly top it up, some spare silicone tips to get a more snug fit, and the quick user guide. SoundPeats as a company has been around for a few years now. They specialize in wireless headphones and speakers, and they've definitely improved over the generations in terms of their drivers and the sound quality. So the design of the Sonic here does look quite distinctive and more expensive than the price here would imply compared to the typical black or white that we usually see in the battery cases. It's also fairly compact, a little bit thicker than the regular AirPods, but still easy enough to slide into pockets. Here it is next to the Redmi AirDots, which they are very comparable in terms of the size, as you can see there. The construction here is still made out of a polycarbonate plastic, but it has a slightly matte texture on it, so it doesn't really attract fingerprints or anything like that, along with some basic branding info located on the back. So we can pop open the case like so, and we're presented to the buds here right on top, and the buds will automatically turn on when you remove them from the casing and start to pair with your device. There is the charging indication light, as you can see there, begin to flash. They are magnetic, so they can be automatically reattached into the casing pretty easily, and even if you give it a gentle shake, it's not going to fall loose. And these are kind of a dot style design, so similar to the aforementioned Redmi AirDots. It's a little different from, say, the Apple AirPods that has a stem sticking outwards. This is going to be a bit more compact. Nothing protrudes quite as much, but the microphone will also be a little bit further away from your mouth. We can see that they continue the same accent with the silver and the gold, with familiar looking shapes that the battery case also hinted at, and the surface here with the SoundPeats logo is the part that's touch sensitive and was pretty responsive to my taps in my testing so far. Now on the rear here we have just the charging contacts, and it's slightly ergonomic as well, so they fit in pretty snugly when I was wearing them. Certainly didn't feel too loose, and they stayed in place even after walking around or doing some light jogging, though it is a tad heavier than the Redmi AirDots just because these do have larger batteries inside, again for them to last upwards of 15 hours, but it's definitely not too bad. It doesn't really weigh you down or add too much stress or strain in my experience so far. They still felt comfortable. Connectivity was really stable thanks to the use of the latest Bluetooth 5.2 coupled with the flagship grade Qualcomm chipset, so I really didn't encounter any hints of dropping or just getting disconnected. Latency is also indeed very low, especially if you are watching a movie on YouTube or Netflix, and when you're playing back a game. The dedicated low latency mode, just by triple tapping, definitely makes a difference as well. The actual sound itself is also excellent, although the drivers in some of their other models might be a little bit more advanced, such as certain ones that they've offered in the past that had dual drivers as part of the True Engine series. This one here is just a dedicated single driver, but still packing overall really satisfactory audio. There is actually a very good hit of bass, so as you're listening to a drum beat or EDM music, it does kind of kick and gives you a pretty satisfying experience, but it's not the most bass heavy I've ever tried, and certainly doesn't overpower the mids or trebles. Even with trebles, if you're listening to vocals, acoustic tracks, it doesn't sound too shrill or harsh, even at the higher range, maintaining a comfortable sound regardless of if you're listening to vocals or instrumentals. So it really is quite enjoyable to listen to. So I think the tuning overall is done pretty well. They've definitely taken on the experience of their past few generations of buds. giving us what I would describe as solid sound. So great sounding for the majority of pop music, acoustic music, really regardless of genre that you're throwing at it, it all sounds very pleasant. So that's more or less it as far as our quick hands-on review of just the Soundpeats Sonic. It looks very attractive and distinctive despite the low price. Construction quality is really solid. Audio quality is also very good. So you can check out more details if you're interested in the links down below. Overall, a good pair of basic buds, I'd say, that gets the job done in terms of audio performance. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the Soundpeats Sonic.